So, Shakur Stevenson rejects Terrence Crawford offer to fight on the Canelo Crawford undercard. He said, thanks, but no thanks. I appreciate it. He believes that him and the Tank fight is a headliner fight and, you know, more money and whatever and whatnot and blase split, which is cool and somewhat understandable. But the problem is Shakur needs to realize that, number one, that fight's not going to happen. And one of the main reasons the fight is not going to happen, he helps build the excuse for Gervonta Tank Davis. I told you, in all actuality, these two are actually avoiding each other. Neither one of them wants to really fight each other. Let's just be real, you know? But the reason why I say that about Shakur is because while you're sitting around, keep asking for a Tank Davis fight, that creates some kind of excuse or space to keep fighting electricians. What Shakur needs to do is he need to have tiers. Gervonta is the top tier, okay? But name me two other, or at least three other fighters that's in the Gervonta Tank Davis realm as far as popularity, money, whatever and whatnot, that you can get besides just Tank. And the reason why is this, because you're not building your profile. You're not raising your value. And that's going to be the main thing that Tank Davis used as a Heisman for Shakur. Shakur by now should have fought some lively people. Shakur should have some type of name by now. It does him no good to keep fighting these kind of fights that we don't know. Shakur is, what, almost 30? Or he probably a little bit younger than that, but I believe he's like 28. So he's almost 30. And you have 30 is approaching supposedly the prime and leaning towards the near end of your career. He's almost 30 and got nothing popping. The same thing with Jerron. Now, Jerron's an example of what happens when you do that. 30-something fights in, no names, and struggling against guys that he shouldn't because he ain't been sharpening his tools with iron. Well, neither has Shakur. So if you want a Tank Davis fight, at least you got to do is raise your profile. And even then, there's no guarantee because, honestly, Devin Haney has raised the hell out of his profile. And Tank's still avoiding him. But it's not good for Shakur to keep banking on Tank and keep giving us electrician fights and then think he's supposed to get a fight with Tank when you have not raised your value. They're going to hide behind, you don't bring nothing, you're boring, and people don't like you. They're going to keep hiding behind that. You have to find a way to circumnavigate around that to put yourself in a position to not be ignored. In other words, you're going to have to move like Devin Haney. If you want the respect, you got to go out there and take it. But you can't keep banking on Tank and keep fighting electricians. You're not going to get there that way. You just not. You just spinning your wheels and your hands is brittle. It ain't smart. So instead of always sitting around banking on Tank, name me two other fighters that's in the Tank realm that if you can't get a Tank fight will be the next best thing for you. I brought up the same scenario when it came to Jerron. Besides him getting to this fight and besides him getting a Terrence Crawford fight, what is the next best fight for Jerron? Nobody ever answered. Nobody ever answered. And here I'm saying it again. Besides Tank, what is the next fight for Shakur Stevenson? What is the next fight? Because we can't keep waiting around Tank. We see how Tank is moving. Why are you allowing Tank to freeze your momentum? You know what I'm saying? Bud didn't let Earl freeze his. He kept doing what he was supposed to do. And that's the same thing Shakur needs to do. But I understand your weakness. How about this? Forget a Tank fight. How about you just getting a fight on the Canelo Crawford undercard? That exposure is good for you alone. That's the kind of stuff you should be worried about. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. That's how you should be thinking. But I'm sick of talking about Tank. We know what Tank is. And if you ask me at this point, Tank is just an excuse for you not to do nothing at this point. Like, Shakur don't believe he gonna be alone. Shakur doesn't believe he gonna be around much longer. He's talking about his body's gonna break down in his 30s because it's broke down right now. So with all that being said, go for the freaking gusto if that's the case. Say what you want about Ryan, but at least he's going for the gusto. You need to do the same thing. What happened to the dudes that took risk? Last dude I've seen take a risk is Devin Haney. The other people I know that's finna take a risk is Terrence Crawford. You want to win big, you got to step big, man. And too much time on Twitter and not enough of the stuff that you're supposed to be doing. It's too much talking with Shakur. Too much, man. Get with somebody that can get you some fights that can raise your profile. Because as of right now, you are nowhere and you're almost 30. How is that possible? But you claim you the best fighter in boxing, but ain't proved it yet. You can't keep saying it. Show us.